In a digital age where whispers become waves, a single voice note has shaken the very foundation of African pop culture and politics. A voice, soft yet assertive, familiar to millions across the continent and beyond. That voice? Tiwa Savage. That message, directed at none other than the young revolutionary leader of Burkina Faso, Captain Ibrahim Traoré. And the contents? A heartfelt plea, a soulful reminder, don't forget the women. It began like an urban legend, a rumor circulating through obscure Telegram channels and encrypted WhatsApp groups, a leaked audio note allegedly from Tiwa Savage, Nigeria's queen of Afrobeats, to Traoré. Some thought it was fake. Some thought it was PR. But those who listened closely knew the tone, the emotion, the cadence, it was unmistakably hers. "We celebrate you," her voice whispered through the static. "But as you rise, don't leave us behind. The African woman has bled for this continent too." And with those few words, a flood of questions poured into the consciousness of Africans across the globe. What was the context of this voice note? What was the relationship between Tiwa Savage and Captain Traoré? And more importantly, why now? To unpack the layers of this story, we must travel across time, across movements, across gender divides, often buried beneath political revolutions. Because what Tiwa did wasn't just send a voice note. She reignited a conversation. Tiwa Savage is no stranger to cultural power. Born in Lagos, educated in London and the US, and trained in the music halls of Berklee College of Music, she rose to stardom not by accident, but by design. Her voice became the anthem for many African women navigating love, freedom, independence, and pain in a society that often silences them. Captain Traoré, on the other hand, rose to prominence as a military figurehead, but quickly transformed into a symbol of Pan-African resilience. At just 36, he leads with a presence and conviction that unsettles colonial residue and electrifies youthful hope. He doesn't talk much in the media, but every move he makes is a statement. And that's what makes this leaked voice note even more powerful. The note, sources say, was private, meant for Traoré's ears only. But in a world where nothing stays secret for long, it found its way into the public domain, and it hit hard. "Brother, as you build the new Africa, remember the old Africa never gave us space to dance freely. Our dreams were often locked behind patriarchy and politics, but we sang anyway. We rose anyway. Don't let your revolution repeat the silence." These weren't just words. They were layered with the pain of generations, from the market women of Accra to the mothers of Soweto to the girls kidnapped in Chibok. It was a wake-up call. The reaction? Explosive. On social media, the hashtag #Don'tForgetTheWomen trended for days. Women's groups across the continent released statements in support. University students held panels. Radio hosts dedicated entire shows to discussing the voice note. But what many missed is that this wasn't just about gender inclusion in politics. It was about redefining African leadership. Because for decades, African revolutions have been male-dominated. From Nkrumah to Sankara, from Lumumba to Mandela, the narrative has often centered on brave men facing imperial powers. But behind every movement, women marched, women nursed, women strategized, yet they rarely made the headlines. So when Tiwa said, "Don't forget the women," she wasn't just pleading. She was demanding historical correction. Some critics argued, why should a pop star be involved in politics? Why should Tiwa Savage, who sings about love and heartbreak, step into the arena of military-led revolutions? But that question in itself reveals the problem. Art has always been political. From Fela Kuti to Miriam Makeba, African artists have used melodies to wage war on injustice. Tiwa Savage, through her global platform, understands this lineage. Her message wasn't just celebrity noise. It was legacy speaking. What happened next? Something unexpected. Just days after the leak, Captain Traoré's team released a subtle but powerful image, a photograph of him seated with a group of Burkina women, farmers, scholars, students, and mothers. No caption, no speech, just presence. Analysts say it was a response, a quiet nod to the voice that reminded him, a confirmation that he heard. Burkina Faso's national radio later broadcast a short audio segment quoting Traoré saying, "A revolution that forgets its mothers is no revolution at all." The impact was seismic. For the first time in decades, women in rural Burkina Faso reported increased invitations to participate in town hall meetings. New initiatives focused on maternal health and girl-child education were launched. And at the heart of this renewed attention was a voice note, an accidental prophecy. As we speak, the legacy of that message continues to unfold. In Lagos, a group of young female coders launched an initiative called Tiwa Tech, using music and technology to engage girls in rural Nigeria. In Nairobi, a poet named Amina recited Tiwa's voice note at a Pan-African youth conference, ending with a tearful question, will they finally see us? The answer slowly seems to be yes. And this is the power of narrative, of audacity, of voices unafraid to bridge the gap between art and action. Tiwa's note might have been intended for one man, but it reached millions. And in that moment, we were reminded that revolutions need rhythm. They need soul. They need the voice of the mothers, the sisters, the daughters. Because without women, Africa is only telling half its story. As we close, let this be more than a story you watched on YouTube. Let it be a seed, a call to action. In your community, in your circles, in your conversations. Don't forget the women. Because if we truly want a new Africa, we must build it with every voice. And some of the most powerful ones don't need a podium. Just a note, just a whisper, just 5 words. Don't forget the women. Let that echo until it becomes policy. Let it dance until it becomes culture. Let it rise until it becomes the rhythm of revolution. Don't forget the women. Tiwa Traoré, Africa Rising.